Good evening, Zara. And
Hello, good evening.
welcome
Thank
to
you.
episode 5.
What were you going to say?
I'm saying welcome to episode 5.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Give me some juice. Some juice. Give me the tonic water.
So we move on. We are still on financial statements, but particularly focusing on IAS 36, which is on impairments. That's what we'll be looking at. It will not be a very long
Okay.
class. I'm sure in
Okay.
under an hour will be done.
Okay.
Then we can meet on Wednesday. At least tomorrow I can have time to train the guys in financial modeling.
Oh, yes. I'm
As
still
you,
part of that class, right?
yes. As you can see, I'm still in the office.
I know. Well,
Come to the territory anyway.
ish. You're so busy.
Yeah. So
Higher than what they actually were.
okay, so
Recoverable
we're
amount.
looking at the IAS 36, like I said, on impairments, a very interesting standard. And we'll try to make it more closer to home so that it becomes easier for you to understand. Sometimes looking
Okay,
at
thank you.
standards without memory pegging them, it becomes quite difficult. You need to
Oh, yes.
contextualize what they are.
Okay. So yesterday was IAS 16.
Yesterday it was an IAS 16, which was looking at property, plant, and equipment,
Percent.
issues of depreciation,
Yes.
the revaluation model. Those are the things that we looked at. So today we move slightly higher, look at impairment. And it's a very interesting topic. Like I said, it's a very interesting standard. Here we are saying a company cannot show anything in its accounts higher than what they are actually worth. Company financials are not like Facebook. Facebook people
Oh, yeah.
show not really.
I know.
They give an impression, most of them that actually are on social media, especially Facebook, that they are doing very fine. It's okay. But then what we are saying that if you do that, there must be a test of impairment so that we test whether truly this is what you are. And this is what we'll be looking at. So we're saying a company cannot show anything in its accounts higher than what they are actually worth.
The worth, oh, yeah.
So what an organization or a company is actually worth is called the recoverable amount. So if I'm worth, for example, where I work, if say they give me a salary of, for argument's sake, £1,000, and I feel that if today I leave work, I'll be making £700, then it means I'm not as, my value is not what the company thinks I am. Because
Oh,
I'm not able to generate that 1,000 outside this particular organization, meaning they're overstating my value. So there must be an impairment to impair me so that my value is equal to my recoverable amount. This is what I'm able to recover. So, for argument's sake, you have a company whose balance sheet worth shows that it is £2 million. Yet at disposal, when you want now to dispose of this particular company, you can only generate from the scrap, whatever it is, whatever assets that it has, you can only generate £500,000. What does it mean? It means that its worth was exaggerated.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what we're saying. What they are actually worth is called the recoverable amount. That is what we're interested in. So no asset can be in the accounts at more than the recoverable amount. But we do see these things once in a while. And this is why there's need to do a test of impairment.
Okay.
So not really neutralizing, leveling what is in the financials or in the books must be equal to what it is really worth. You can see a humble statement there. Less is fine, just not more.
Oh, yeah. Just not.
When you try to go on social media, it's okay to show that you are just hustling, you are just not there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
okay. It's a very humble way of representing your worth. Then you go there and you are showing all these big things that you have. Even someone is building, you want to assume that it's yours.
Oh, yeah.
So we are saying less is fine, just not more.
Just not.
I'd rather I debase my value out there than I inflate my value.
Oh, yeah.
Mvela chizungu.
Hey. Vela.
Mhm.
So assets need to be checked that the net book value is not greater than the recoverable amount. Okay.
So that the net book value is not greater than the recoverable amount. It's a basic thing. It's very realistic. That because what goes in there, your book value, your net book value, must not be at any given time higher than your recoverable amount. Because your recoverable amount, that is how worth you are. Or that is what worth. That is how worth you are. That is your worth.
Oh, yeah.
So if your net book value is higher than your recoverable amount, please impair, and that impairment is an expense that needs to be taken into the income statement.
Um,
I hope you're getting the principle.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
ask you, your net book value, is it equal to your recoverable amount? You as a person, Zara.
Oh, me.
You as a person. Is your
My
net book,
net book.
is your net book value higher than your recoverable amount?
Uh-uh. My net book value is less. I deserve more. I know what my recoverable amount is. I'm not yet there.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I
So
guess you understand.
okay. So that's what impairment. Yeah, I've now understood okay. And it goes on the P&L like the depreciation.
Yes, it's an expense because you see
Oh
what it is.
yes.
You understand this thing first. The way these things, once you just get to understand the code, so to say, it becomes
Oh yes.
easier.
Oh
You have
yes.
balance sheet here. You need to understand first. You have your balance sheet there. Your balance sheet. You have your PPE. Let's say 200. Let me just assume this is the only thing you have as an asset. And then only liabilities and equity. Just do like this. On liabilities and equity, you have 200 as well.
Oh.
So in your equity, this is why you have your share capital, you have retained earnings, which is basically your accumulated profits and losses from your
Perfect.
income statement.
Yeah.
That's what it means, right?
Mm.
Now, This is basically your value. This is an NBV. So after you've done your test of impairment, you find that the value is just what, 198. In this 200, you have
Oh yeah.
for example, you have 50, which is your equity.
Well, that's why you have to take that £2 difference impairment onto the P&L so that it shows here under liabilities and equity, right? Yeah.
So here you have 150, which is your liability. So it will not balance. The balance sheet will actually give you a difference of 2.
2, oh yes.
So then this 2, what for the balance sheet to balance, it means that in here, that 2 that you have impaired, it will go in the income statement.
Oh yes.
As an expense. Which will eventually find itself here under earnings.
Yeah.
And reduce this to 48.
48, okay.
Then balance this part.
We have 198.
Meaning now you have impaired, you have actually tried to resize your asset to the real value it is able to generate. And that real value is basically your recoverable amount. Mambo. Nel office that one of them nel class into yeah. Okay. So how do you calculate a recoverable amount? So there are 2 things that an entity can do with an asset. Hello? Hello?
Oh.
My internet after it got disturbed. So we are saying there are 2 things an entity can do with an asset. One is to sell it. If you have an asset, you can sell it or you can use it, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
If you can sell it, the value at which you will be able to recover that asset will be the value that you're going to consider the true value of the asset. If you can use it, the value that you're extracting from that asset or forecasted value that you extract from that asset discounted to today will actually give you the recoverable amount. So it's either you're actually looking at your fair value less cost to sell, that gives you a recoverable amount, or value in use, meaning you will keep this asset and you continue using it. How much you are actually harvesting from that from that asset, forecasted into the future up to the end of that particular lifespan or the lifespan of that asset, discounted today will actually give you the value of this particular asset, and it will be called value in use because you have decided to use it.
Okay. Value in use.
So there are only 2 things that you can do with an asset.
Either you sell it or use it, okay.
Or use it. Come on now, keep it. Okay.
Yes, so how do you calculate recovery?
So you obviously choose one which is beneficial or most beneficial to you.
Fair value less costs.
So you choose the higher of the following when you're actually looking at how you calculate your recoverable amount. I explained in a moment, I did actually that, where first is the fair value, less cost to sell.
So,
It will give you a recoverable amount. Or value in use, and I did explain to you that based on your actual cash inflows you're generating on your EBITDA, you are able to project in the future, even in perpetuity. And this is where now you have those PG or the growth rates, whatever. You are able to project. And that value, you discount it to today because you need to make a decision. This is where now the discount factors matter most. So when you're getting the recoverable amount, is the higher between the fair value, less cost to sell, and value in use. So you pick the highest. That is your value. That becomes your recoverable amount. That is how you can define a recoverable amount. Are you there?
Yes.
I guess you are.
So how do you, yes. How do you calculate the recoverable amount?
So there is an illustration here, almost like the one that I was actually giving you. So you're saying you have a PPE, property, plant, and equipment, at 100 as NBV. Then its fair value, less cost to sell, is 90. And this value in use is 80. So you pick the highest. In this case, it will be 90. That 90 is what now you're going to regard as a recoverable amount. Meaning now, if you have 90, remember that what is sitting in your balance sheet, on your balance sheet, is 100.
It's 100, yes.
100 minus 90, because then you have to dwarf it.
Impair.
Yes, that's the term now. So you have to impair it. So that 10 is what now goes directly into the income statement as an expense. Okay? So an impairment loss should be recognized whenever the recoverable amount is below carrying amount. So the impairment loss is an expense in the income statement. So we had already explained that, meaning that in the future, you're going to adjust.
Yes.
So I'll do like this for now.
Or depreciation for future periods.
Yes, so you're going to adjust depreciation for future periods. That's what we will do. Because then now you have your 90. So your 90 now where you'll be doing your depreciation, not 100.
Not 100, okay.
To be based on your recoverable amount.
Okay.
In the subsequent period. So these are just the definitions that you need to know.
So when you look at your depreciation charge for the year, when you're saying you should check annually or regularly, right? So when you're looking at your assets and you find that you have to either increase the depreciation, is that what we're calling impairment?
No. Impairment, you are always need. Impairment is basically reduction. Because you are reducing the asset value to what it is worth.
Yes, okay.
Remember, I said it's better not over exaggerate who you are, your worth.
Oh, yes.
It's better you even debase it.
So, but when we're looking at depreciation annually or regularly, what are we doing? What are we
So what
looking
you are
for?
saying is that we're going to adjust depreciation, and it's simple. Remember that your net value then was 100. You have impaired it to 90. You cannot continue using the same depreciation that you had at first.
Oh,
For
yes.
example,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was 9. You will not do that.
No. Yeah.
So
That's
depreciation now will be based on the new number, which
on the
then now
numbers.
goes into on your balance sheet.
Okay.
Mhm.
So fair value with the amount.
Value in use had already mentioned about the discounted the present value. I did mention on
Yes.
this one. Yeah. So you discount it today. If you have any terminal values at disposal which come in as cash inflows, they'll find themselves maybe at the terminal year. And still you need to discount them today because you're making decisions today.
Okay.
That's what the IAS 36 is, really.
Identifying
So
an
at
asset.
each balance sheet date, review all assets to look for any indication that an asset may be impaired. So this is what we do when you start IAS 36, even where we are here. At least I've been privileged developing the impairment model that the company uses. I developed it.
Oh, oh,
So
wow.
what it is that every year the auditors they ask for that model to check on the test of impairment. So we put in new numbers and it will show us if there is any impairment that has occurred. So that the
Oh,
number that you take in the balance sheet on a yearly basis is a
mm-hmm.
number that is regarded as a recoverable amount.
Oh,
Then over time, obviously, once you inject it into the balance sheet, it becomes your NBV, because then you are saying your NBV and the recoverable amount must be the same.
the same,
But if
yes.
you find in a situation where the NBV, net book value, is lower than the
Recover
recoverable
from.
amount, be humble,
Oh,
leave it like that, or revalue your asset, meaning you're not going to impair. Just revalue your asset.
oh, yes. Okay. But
So
if
if,
it's higher, that's
yes,
when you impair.
that is when you impair, because then you are removing excess fat.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Okay. That's
So
when
if
it's
there's
impair.
an indication that an asset may be impaired, then you must calculate the asset's recoverable amount to see if it is below what, yeah, carrying value. This I explained.
Oh,
This I've
yes.
explained.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
What are the indicators of impairment? Oh, yeah. What's economic losses, market value declines, so physical
What
damage.
losses or worse economic performance? During COVID, trust me, most companies actually went through some tests of impairments and were impaired because what they were
Oh,
able
yeah.
to generate and forecasted to generate in the future was much, much lower than they were generating in the
Oh, yeah.
previous. So the assets on the balance sheet where the book value or the value of those assets was higher than the recoverable amount during COVID. So most companies had to even fold. Two, market value declining. So if the market values
Of the
are
assets. Yeah.
of the assets declining, you expect you have to do that impairment test.
Oh, yeah.
Physical damage or obsolescence, that is one of the indicators.
Oh,
Changes in
yeah.
technology, markets, economy, or laws. Sometimes just regulatory or statutory laws can actually alter the value of an asset.
Oh, yes.
And it is just important that you need to do your test of impairment. Increases in market interest rates. So as the market interest goes up, you expect that the value will actually start diminishing from your assets, and that has an effect. You have gurus in your organization, like the way you are living now, you're a guru. So we'll have to go and pass a test of impairment at that company of yours. Restructuring, if there's a restructuring, reorganization, you expect that as you are doing that in the process, and it's just natural, that value will be lost because sometimes good people may actually lose employment.
Oh, yes.
And that has an
So,
effect in terms of the value that creates. So you have to
mhm,
check whether there is an impairment or a test of impairment that has to be done based on the
okay.
skill set of those that are actually living. And we saw it with Twitter, with Elon Musk. The time when he came
Mhm.
in, he fired quite a number of people. Later on, he realized that he was even firing the guys that were creating value for the company, started bringing them
Oh,
one by one.
mhm. So what happens with if a company has cars, company cars, and they're
Mhm.
sitting on your assets, on on your, yeah, obviously in the balance sheet, they are, because cars lose their value quite quickly.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah,
impair those?
yeah, but you need to check those cars mostly. It should be an issue of using your straight line, whatever depreciation. But then
Oh
when you
yeah,
realize that the cars, the value of those cars is over exaggerated, what is in there is higher than what you will be able to recover.
recoverable amounts, then
We
you
are looking
impair.
at value less cost of sale. Fair value, you are saying it's actually closer to the market value. Or you're looking at value news where you're saying these cars, if you're in transportation business, how much do you think they would be able to generate up to the time that they are done, up to the time, up to the end of their economic lifespan? Then
Oh
discount them
yes.
there, you will know the value.
Okay.
Mhm. Understood?
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
That's
So
fine.
you can also check annually. It's not just those things that you have seen. You can also check annually, regardless of whether there's been an impairment indicator or not. That's an intangible asset with
Oh,
an infinity useful life. You'll be need to check and do what you call a test of impairment. An
okay.
intangible asset not yet available for use. You have it, but it's not available for use. Check again, do a test of impairment.
Yeah.
Goodwill acquired in a business combination. Obviously, these you'll be learning them. They're governed by a standard called IFRS
Or
3 on business
three
combination.
or
So goodwill as well, you actually test impairment. And thank you so much. I can
thank you.
nicely go home, but let me
Yes,
give you time to to check out.
to check out. Okay, I'll be quick. Thank you again. This has been very insightful. I really understand impairments now. As usual, you've explained it in a way that is very easy to understand. I probably never understood it fully until now. Yes, so that was really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tomorrow will be in the financial modeling class, so we'll still meet in any
Okay.
case. Yeah,
And will it be at 7 p.m. your time?
I think so. I think so.
Okay. All right.
See how it goes. I think
Ah,
so. Yeah, maybe even 18. I'll see. Since you're still home, isn't it, for a week or so?
no, no, no. Tomorrow I go back to work.
Oh, okay. So it will be almost at the same time, maybe 7.
Okay.
Mm.
So, okay, that's fine. All right.